Oh, my head could not figure it out. Yeah, sure, we'll go with the word naff. Here it is. It is so cute. Ta-da! Top 10 most coloured in colouring books. Going all weird when I'm old and wrinkly.
And a little bit of spice.
Is this one from Spooky? Who needs medicine when you've got books, colouring and art? You've seen the title. Today we're doing another colouring vlog. I also apologise if you can hear the dog barking in the background. We'll just try to ignore that. But yeah, if you're a frequent viewer on my channel, I usually do an ultimate colouring vlog around once a month. However, this month we are titling it Cozy Colouring Vlog because you might be able to hear it in my voice. I've been battling a sickness over the last few days. I haven't been sleeping super well, and so I do not have the energy right now to film a colouring challenge video. So a cozy colouring vlog it is. Today I just want to hang out with you, do a bunch of colouring things, keep things nice and chill and relax, and yeah, make it as cozy as possible. I've written down a bunch of things on my phone that I thought we could do today. I know I'm not going to get to all of them, but it's nice to have a list of activities to choose from, see what I'm feeling in the moment. And one thing I want to do first is give you a little bit of a creative studio update, show you what's new since my last colouring vlog. And I have decided to dub it my creative studio rather than creative space. I don't know, it just feels a little bit less, I think naff was the word I used last time. Is naff the right word to use? Naff is inferior and lacks taste or style. Yeah, sure, we'll go with the word naff. All right, let's go show you the updates. So I think the biggest update slash addition to this room is that I now have an office chair. I was using a very old dingy leather chair for a while there that had really not much support, and I've been trying to put a lot more effort into the editing of my videos recently, and so I definitely needed an upgrade to help with my back issues, because when you're sitting in a non-supportive chair for a gazillion hours on end, your body definitely starts to feel it. This one I just got from Amazon. It was fairly inexpensive in regards to ergonomic office chairs. I got this one for $190 at the time, but now it's Prime Day sales and it's $165, so really I should have waited, but alas, it was still a pretty good deal. It's also fully adjustable, so you can adjust the tilt, the headrest, how high it goes, all that jazz. I'll leave it linked in the description below in case you're looking for a chair yourself. And then another little update that I'm very excited about. I've been telling you guys for ages that I've been having lots of decor issues with my cats, and that I thought a crochet plant might be my solution. So there was a little stall at my local shopping center that had a bunch of crochet plants, only $10, so you know I had to pick one up, and here it is. It is so cute. I am so obsessed with it, and I already want to buy like 20 more to have on my shelves. Speaking of which, I have made a definitive decision about my shelving here. So I went onto IKEA and I actually decided I would go into their little, I don't know, it's like some custom studio thing, and design my own Billy bookshelf case storage situation. And so I'll put a little picture of it here. And yeah, I think this is what I'm gonna go with. I mainly want closed door storage, so everything looks neat and tidy in this room, and then just a few shelves to display my coloring books and other little fun decor pieces. I don't know when I'll purchase that because it's not like a super inexpensive purchase. I'm hoping that once I finally do my taxes, hopefully I'll get a little money back and I can put it towards that. But yeah, this room is slowly shaping up very nicely. I am even contemplating fully rejigging the room and just trying out a different layout to see if I like it better. Eventually I'll find the sweet spot and it'll be my perfect little creative haven. Now, something on my list that I do need to do today that is not fully coloring related is go to the library, because I have a bunch of books I need to drop off and some that I need to pick up. But whilst we're there, I wanted to see if I could find some art books for like coloring inspiration and maybe to help me start my drawing journey. I know I keep talking about it, but I promise I am going to start learning how to draw soon. It's going to happen. Actually, I did want to talk about books for a little bit. I feel like a lot of colorists are avid readers as well. Those two hobbies kind of go hand in hand. And there is this little secret library that I created in my home that I want to share with you because it's just, it's brought me so much joy. I feel like you can really see how short I am with this angle, but it is time for the secret library unveiling in 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! This little secret cupboard of mine brings me so much joy. There's even, you can kind of see this shelf here, and there's even another one at the very top with a stack of books. Even though I love having physical books, I am very particular with ones that I buy. Most of the time, I will just borrow a book from the library, and if I really enjoyed it and see myself rereading it again in the future, then I will allow myself to buy it. So it is quite a curated collection that I've got going on here. It's time to go do my one outing for the day, trying to get back out into the physical world. Let's head to the library. All right, I've got you at a very unflattering angle because I don't want anyone to spot me filming in my car. But the books I am currently dropping off to the library. The first book is Carly Fortune's new release called One Golden Summer. And then I'm also dropping off volumes 2 and 3 of the Lore Olympus series by Rachel Smythe. This is a graphic novel series. I've been trying to get into graphic novels a little bit recently to yet again get some art inspiration. I haven't read too many graphic novels, so I feel like my opinion is probably very, I don't know, not the most valid out there, but I'm really enjoying this series so far. I'm pretty sure there's like 9 volumes in the series, so I've got a lot more to get through. But if you enjoy Greek mythology and a little bit of spice in there as well, highly recommend this series. And in fact, I actually just learned that it has a coloring book for it as well, so maybe at the end of the series, I might look at a flip through for that coloring book and might add it to my collection. But anyway, let's go pick up my holds and have a look if there's any good art books at the library. I swear to God, I could spend all day in libraries and bookshops. Who needs medicine when you've got books, colouring and art? That's all I need to reinvigorate myself. Just a very small library book haul, 2 of which were holds. This is House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. I read, The Invocations by her earlier this year, and I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars, so I had to read another one of her books. We then have Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. This is her new release. I'm absolutely obsessed with her stories. I'm a big fan of magical realism, and that's exactly what all her novels are about. And then the one art coloring related book I picked up, I tried to find some drawing books, but they were all very serious, realistic how to draw books, and that's not really what I'm going for. So I found this one, which looks really cool. This is Creative Watercolor and Mixed Media. We all know I'm in my mixed media art era at the moment, and there are some really cool ideas in this book. One page in particular that I know I'm going to get a lot of inspiration from is this one here with all the sort of circular watercolor artworks, but I thought these ideas could work really well for the backgrounds of coloring pages. I mean, all the ideas in this book are kind of related to background ideas. One other page I really liked, this constellation and cosmic textures tutorial. How cool is this one? They've added some like little star sequins to it as well. They've used, I think, salt to create that dappled effect as well. This would work so well for the background of some sort of galaxy themed illustration. Oh, I love this one here, this outer space collage. Such a fun idea to add some sort of like craft paper to your coloring pages. And I'll just show you one more. There's a lot of crystals and gemstones tutorials in here, which, as you may know, I've started getting into coloring those kind of elements in my coloring pages. This one here, look at this natural emerald tutorial. That is absolutely stunning. So yes, I'll definitely have to put some of these effects and techniques into a coloring page soon. Now, something I want to move on to doing right now is actually filming some short form content. This is something I've definitely been putting to the wayside because I just prefer creating long form content. However, I know that, a lot of people do love the short form stuff nowadays, so I should dabble in it at least a little bit. And basically the short form idea that I had was to share my top 10 most colored in coloring books. There's like some trending countdown sound that I can use. So let's actually find out what those 10 books are in my coloring journal. Well, I knew this already. Small Victories is at the very top with 43 completed pages in it. We then have 21 pages done in Rooms of Wonder, 14 pages done in Mindrise Dirge Asian, 6 pages done in Year of Witches, 5 pages done in Adorable Town. I have not colored in this in forever, but it was one of only the 6 books I owned for a while there, so that's probably why it's got 5. We then have Worlds of Wonder, Enchanted Earth, Bull de Poix. All right, 2 more. Oh my goodness, that is perfect. These are the books that I have 4 completed pages in, which is Shooting Star by Maria Troll, as well as Mindrise Dirge Europa by Rita Berman. So, all right, I'm gonna film that short form content now, get it out of the way, and then we're gonna flip through some books in my collection to find a specific style of page.
My top 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, short form content has been filmed. I also had some lunch and a green tea, so I'm fueled up to keep going. But yes, like I alluded to before, I want to flip through some of my coloring books now and find some specific type of pages. If you saw my recent completed pages video, I spoke about how in July I really want to color a birthday related page. It is my birthday month. I am a July baby and I didn't get to color a birthday related page last year, and I'm like, I must do it this year, even though I have so many whips I should be focusing on. But anyway, I'm not gonna choose any pages, or I'm not gonna look through any of the books that are part of my top 10 most colored, because I want to focus on books that I either haven't colored in at all or haven't colored much in. So let's have a look-see at what we have here. I have not colored in Wondrous Folk yet. I doubt there is a birthday related page in this one, but we can always hope. Fairy Tales and Folklore, I would definitely be keen to do a page in. I honestly think this is my favorite book in my collection just because of the quality of it, but I have not colored many pages in it, so that needs to be rectified. I've done quite a few in Vibrant Wilds. Maybe we can just have a quick look through Manga Mania. However, these are quite large pages and I don't know if I have that in me, but we'll have a look through it. Let's look at Magical Woodland by Kate Pellerin. I'm going to bring out all the Lulu Mayo books. I feel like there's always some good sort of present pages in that I could make work for a birthday related coloring. I know My Tiny Forest does have a sort of birthday celebration party page, but I have colored in that one recently, so I won't worry about that one. Yeah, actually, let's bring out all of my Japanese books as well. So I feel like this is going to take a little bit of time, so maybe we can move somewhere that's a little bit more comfy and cozier. right, I spent a good amount of time flipping through all the books and I did find quite a few. However, I have narrowed it down to 3 as to not bore you with a gazillion uncolored pages. Let's have a look at the top 3 contenders so far. So the first one I'm considering is from A Million Sea Creatures by Lulu Mayo, and I knew this page was in this book and I have been contemplating doing it for this month. And I mean, you could do the page next to it as well because it's got 3 little presents there, but I really like this dolphin wave kind of one. This kind of illustration is very popular in Lulu Mayo's books, where you got animals coming out of some crashing waves. It's not super duper birthday-y, but you got 2 presents there and that's birthday vibes enough for me. The other 2 pages I have on my radar are definitely more birthday related. In fact, the page I tabbed from Manga Mania literally is a birthday illustration page. Here it is. It's this little girl and she's got these bunnies wishing her a happy birthday, and I do think this page is adorable, but I think it's just because I'm a little bit run down and sick at the moment that the prospect of coloring this page just feels like too overwhelming of a task. And then finally, I have Fairy Tales and Folklore by Emily Lederhol-Oberg. And there is the perfect birthday page in here. This is it here with this kind of, I guess it's almost like some sort of cake treehouse vibe. All of the mice on this page are wearing some party hats and they've got presents and there's donuts and a banner, sweet treats, all that good stuff. And this does feel very birthday-esque to me. I definitely think I would lean towards this one more at the moment rather than the Manga Mania one. However, I do think the A Million Sea Creatures page is calling to me the most, but it's also the least birthday vibes, you know? I feel like I could easily make that one work for Christmas time, whereas these other 2 options are very much within that birthday realm. So yes, I'm gonna put it out to you guys. Which page do you think I should color? The dolphin page from A Million Sea Creatures, the very much birthday page from Manga Mania, or this mice cake celebration page from Fairy Tales and Folklore? Let me know in the comments. Now, considering this is a coloring vlog, we better do some coloring together. And I wanted to finish a page with you today. It's the page that I started in my last video where I tackled all of the coloring techniques I've been avoiding. And the specific page I wanted to work on with you today from that video is this one from Spooky. This is definitely one of the favorite pages I colored in that video, so I straight away started working on it more after filming it, and it's coming along pretty well. I was very brave and added in my own floral details in the background, and a majority of the colored pencil work is done as well for the jar bottle element. I spoke about in my last video that I wasn't sure if I should do another layer of grey over top for the shadowed areas of the bottle. And I spoke about using a grey alcohol marker to deepen those shadows again after doing all of the coloured pencil work. However, I don't know what I was thinking in suggesting that, because alcohol marker literally breaks down the wax pigment of pencils. So I'm glad logic kicked in and I didn't do that. So yes, what I need to do right now in order to finish the page, I need to finish shading the flowers that I added into the background, just the petal parts. I also want to do some Neo Color 2 work in the background. And then I also need to figure out where to put my acrylic marker highlights. So you're going to see me do that on screen right now. And whilst you're watching me do that, I also wanted to answer some more of the questions that you guys sent in for me. If you didn't catch my last coloring vlog, I asked you guys to send in a bunch of questions, and as we go throughout all my different coloring vlogs, I'm just slowly getting through all the questions and answering them all for you. So let's answer a few more whilst I'm doing some spooky coloring. I'm also using a number generator to pick the questions out at random. Okay, so I feel like this question, most of you will know my answer to. It is, what is the one pencil set you want to own in the future? I've spoken about it numerous times on the channel, but I am desperate to try out the Faber-Castell Polychromos. I've just hyped them up in my head so much now that I'm worried that when I actually get my hands on them, I won't love them as much as I'm anticipating. But it is my birthday in 2-ish weeks, so who knows, I might have my hands on them sooner than you might think. If you were introducing a friend to colouring, how would you choose which colouring book to gift them? That is an amazing question. First thing I would consider is, are they going to be using mainly pencils, alcohol markers, water-based mediums, or all three? The second thing I would ask myself is what their current art abilities are. Are they going to enjoy something that is more detailed or something more simplistic? And then the third question I would ask, which I think is probably the most important of the three questions, what are their interests and hobbies? What lights them up? What are they passionate about? At the end of the day, yes, I do love single-sided colouring books and also colouring books with amazing paper quality. But what matters to me most above all that is that I love the illustrations within it. Some of my favourite colouring books in my collection are ones that are just aligned with me and my personal interests as a person, like Rita Berman's Asia book. I'm obsessed with Japan, so many of the illustrations in that book do call to me, which is why it's one of the top 10 most coloured in books in my collection. Do you have tattoos and or piercings? So piercings wise, I have 3 in this ear, and then I have 2 in this ear and 1 that's closed up. This third one on this side was just getting repeatedly infected, and so I just gave up and let it close over. I have thought about getting it re-pierced, but I feel like there's just too much scar tissue there now, so I'm probably just always going to be lopsided. In regards to tattoos, I do not have any. I've thought about it, but I am so indecisive and I get bored and sick of things really easily, so I'm pretty sure I'd get a tattoo and then be like, I'm bored of it a couple years later. And also, I don't like the idea of the tattoo going all weird when I'm old and wrinkly. I'm sure there are so many tattoos out there that still look amazing on people as they get older, but I don't know, I'm just imagining myself at 90 years old with a tattoo and it's, I know, I just do not have a pretty image in my head when I imagine that. So I don't think I'd ever get a tattoo. If I did, it'd probably be something really small somewhere. What other hobbies do you have and what do you do on sad days? We all have those sad days, don't we? I don't have many other hobbies at the moment. Colouring and just life takes up most of my time, but obviously I love reading. That is probably my biggest hobby alongside colouring. I've dabbled in a lot of other hobbies in the past. I did a lot of sewing during, that 2020 period. I've done knitting before as well, which I've been having the urge to do again. I knitted myself, which I've worn a few times on the channel. I knitted myself a headband once and I'm absolutely obsessed with that headband. So I want to make myself some more of those, but I need to make sure I get the right yarn because my skin is just so sensitive to different fabrics and materials, and most yarns just make me feel really itchy, whereas that one doesn't, which I literally just got that yarn from the op shop, so I have no idea what it's made out of. So I'm just gonna have to find some really nice yarn and knit myself some more headbands because I love that headband. In the future, I'd be really curious to try some sort of patchwork quilting thing. I have no idea what I'd make, but I feel like that could be fun. Also, rug tuftings just appeals to me so much. And I would love to learn how to crochet, but I've tried it before. I watched so many YouTube videos and I couldn't do it. People say crocheting is easier than knitting. Oh, my head could not figure it out. I think I would need to go to some like actual physical classes for crocheting because I need someone to tell me what I'm doing wrong. And in regards to what do I do on my sad days, definitely coloring and reading give me the most joy. What you saw me do before, just flipping through my coloring books on the couch, just warms my heart a little bit, especially at the moment when I'm feeling run down and sick. Journaling is really helpful for me as well. I always put off doing it because it feels like like a mammoth task to write out all my thoughts and feelings. But once I get started, it does become very stream of consciousness and I can write several pages and just get all the gunk out of my brain. And I wish I could do it more, but I always find that just crying helps. Just having a good cry, getting it all out of your system and not letting it bottle up, just letting out those emotions. I'm someone who suppresses my emotions, so if I'm able to cry and just, release that from the damn welled up inside of me, a good cry always helps. As well as some comfort YouTube and TV shows. So the next question is, do you ever wish you lived somewhere else, like somewhere with 4 seasons? I really don't, to be honest. I live in Queensland in Australia and I love the warm weather. Even the other night I said to Jackson, I'm sick of the cold. I want it to be warm again. I am such a summer baby. I hate that my birthday is in winter. I always wanted to have a pool birthday party growing up. But yeah, I just think Australia is the best. If you've never been here, please come and visit. I would be interested in living in Japan for like 6 months to a year, but I can't imagine leaving my 2 cats behind, so they're definitely keeping me planted here in Australia. How can we go about finding colouring books with good paper, especially for alcohol markers? One of the best things you can do is look up reviews online. There are plenty of YouTube channels out there that are dedicated to reviewing colouring books, especially Colour with Claire. She does so many colouring book reviews, so definitely check her channel out. And I do get asked a lot, how do you know if a book from Amazon is printed on Amazon quality paper, which is basically just printer paper? And if you scroll down to the bottom, if it says it's independently published, that usually means it's a KDP book. I think that's what the term of those books are. But if there's actual publishing company listed, usually the paper quality is a little bit better, especially if it's a dedicated colouring book. Are there any out of print / hard to find books you'd love to own? Yes, there is one, and I wish I could get my hands on it. I believe it's called Mermaids in Paradise by Denise Klett. The illustrations in that book are just so whimsy and quirky and fun, and I know she has other books out, but none of them really appeal to me as much as that mermaid book. I love my ocean-themed illustrations, and yeah, that's one I wish I could get. If anyone knows how I can get my hands on that book, please let me know. Do you have any tricks for 2-sided colouring pages to prevent bleeding with alcohol markers? Unfortunately, no, I do not. Alcohol markers they bleed through the paper. That's just the formulation and how they work. Unless if you're going to be colouring in Ohuhu's new books, which are double-sided and bleed-proof, there isn't really any solid solution. I've tried it in the past where you do a layer of gesso on the page and that does prevent it from bleeding through to the other side. But because gesso is such a textured medium, I found that it just destroyed my alcohol markers because the surface was too rough. I've also heard that people sand the paper after using gesso. I haven't done that personally. Otherwise, I would also consider getting maybe some sort of marker paper and just copying your pages in your coloring books and printing them out that way. Or also some people who I think it's very bougie if you do this, you can buy 2 copies of a coloring book. So obviously you do all the left-hand illustrations on one side with alcohol markers, and then the other copy, you do all the other side illustrations. Sorry I couldn't be more helpful. I wish there was a way as well. Let's do one more question. I know Andre has been desperate to know this answer. It is, what was the story behind the 2 paintings in the background at your old house? Andre, I wish I had an exciting story for you, but literally, I just bought those as paint by number canvases from Kmart. And yeah, I did them and hung them up behind me. I'm so sorry. I wish there was a really cool story, but there really isn't. A lot of you have actually recommended in the comments of my coloring vlogs that I should hang up some of my coloring pages that I've completed to display in the room, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan of displaying my own art. I just don't like it as much. Even though I like my completed pages, I don't want to display them in my home for some reason. I much prefer and appreciate other people's artwork more. I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, I'm also someone who my food that I cook myself never tastes as good as someone else cooking for me. I feel like it's kind of the same thing. Something I'm contemplating doing actually is getting some sort of like cork board, and then I could print off some of my own coloring pages. Like I would just print off pictures that I've taken, and then I could stick them on that cork board, and then when I get sick of them, I can just replace them with other ones. That's an idea that I'm contemplating, but I would also just love to display other people's artwork because, there are some amazing, talented people out there. Now, one of my favorite things about completing a coloring page is being able to log it in my Notion coloring journal. I do have a very basic template of this available on my Ko-fi store in the description below if you want to purchase it and create your own. I'm gonna have to attach my mic to my hoodie right now because I need both hands in order to type. Okay, so yes, the first thing I'll do after completing a page is head to my Colored Pages tab, and I'll scroll down and find the book. Obviously ours was Spooky, and I just update it from 3 to 4, looking very nice. And then I'll go into my 2025 tracker. We'll go into the month, it is July. And then in the Colored Pages section here, I've created a toggle list here so that I can document all of the supplies I used on the page. Otherwise, if you don't worry about documenting your supplies, just make a numbered list. And if you do want to know how to change a numbered list into a toggle list, all you need to do is click this little, I guess these little 6 dots here, and then you go to turn into, and then you've got all these options here. So you would have a numbered list highlighted if you were on numbered list, and then all you have to do is click on toggle list. Oh wait, I actually documented this wrong here. Wildflower Folk, and then I'm supposed to put the page description. There we go. So yes, I've got Spooky, and we're gonna call this the Spring Bottle page, and the date today is the 11th of the 7th. I will then click on this little arrow here, and then I write down all of my supplies. So I'll do that now and not bore you too much. Amazing, there we go. Those are all the supplies listed, and then I can just click the arrow again and they're hidden. And then the books colored section, I already have Spooky there because I worked on it in that last video and I updated it there. I then can remove it from the whips section, very exciting. I now only have 5 whips on the go. And then I can also put it as a page that I've completed from my 2025 challenge. So, Spooky Spring Bottle. Excellent. Oh, and then I also have to update this page's number up here too. So, yes. And then we can go back to the 2025 tracker and I can update my completed pages table here. This is me tracking how many pages I've colored in each book for the year rather than an overall total. So I click on Spooky again, 3, and then I can also tick it off from my challenge list here. This is very, very exciting. Where is it? Right at the bottom. I did intend to color this in spring, but I was feeling like it right now. So there we go. How many pages have I completed so far from this challenge? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not too bad. Like I said in my coloring mid-year reset video, I'm not pressuring myself to color every page on this list. I'm just trying to get to as many as I can throughout the year without forcing myself to color any of these pages. I think I would be happy if I made it to around 15 out of the 25 25 at the end of the year. If I end up colouring more than 15, I'll definitely give myself a big old pat on the back. Well, I think I'm gonna leave it there for today's colouring vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it felt like we were just hanging out and doing some colouring things together and that you were colouring whilst you were watching this video. If you made it to this part of the video, let me know by leaving what kind of emoji. Let's leave a yellow emoji in the comments. Hopefully that gives me some healing, positive energy as I'm getting over this sickness. And yes, also let me know which of those pages you think I should colour for my birthday. In the meantime, happy colouring, friends. Have a good day, have a good life, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!